Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite aspiring revolutionary here, a wandering author, coming at you from the bluffs at Beaver Bend in southern Indiana. We are on the outskirts of Hoosier National Forest. Yesterday we were at Short Springs, Tennessee, which featured one of the most interesting microclimates that I've seen. It was almost like a northern hemisphere's version of a rainforest. Water was just flowing everywhere. It was constantly lightly raining. You could see some pictures on my Instagram from there yesterday. Now here at the bluffs of Beaver Bend, we don't see any right this second. Obviously that's Beaver Creek and White River, but there's some really cool limestone or sandstone cliff formations around here. And they kind of jut up and they have some really interesting colors. Hopefully we'll see some while we're talking. Anyways, this is Martin County, Indiana's Crown Jewel Nature Preserve. You can definitely see why. I'm about a mile into the woods right here. Very scenic, as you guys can tell. Native Americans used the cliffs around here for a long time, many years, as a source of shelter. And I actually have seen a turkey on the way out here. Anyways, so let's talk about collapseology. And I'll start with the four horsemen of the apocalypse are an allegory used in the Bible to represent the downfall of society. The four horsemen represent, respectively, war, pestilence, famine, and death. And hundreds of years ago, famines were much more common than they are around us today, right? But they may have played a role in the Bronze Age collapse. So, more than likely, if there was widespread food crop failures, it was caused by the weather, at least initially. And historian Gary Shaw has said that when enough people are driven by desperation, not even the greatest state can stop them, which I think is pretty self-evident statement. I think, who was it, Voltaire, that said the society's 7 meals away from anarchy at any given point in time, right? Now, we may not even necessarily need to see in our current society complete failure of crops, but if we saw a failure of the supply chains where food was no longer able to get to the grocery stores, most people are not growing even close to enough, if anything, to feed themselves. And if you guys are growing something, dude, you being part of the solution, that's good. Or food prices could just continue inflating until they're no longer really affordable. Anyways, regardless, once you start putting food scarcity onto a population, you never know what's going to happen. But looking at the Bronze Age, it does seem that it probably did play a role. The Hittite Empire in particular appears to have been suffering from famine. They sent a letter from their capital talking about starvation to Egypt, which was the Mediterranean's breadbasket at the time. Kind of like the United States, like the middle heartland areas during the Great Depression with the Dust Bowl. And what's interesting is similar arid conditions that led to the Dust Bowl in the US in the 30s may have played a part in the downfall of these Bronze Age empires. Many historians believe a prolonged drought unleashed the four horsemen. Malcolm Viner reports that warfare and migrations may be both the result and cause of the food crisis. So last time we were talking about the Sea Peoples, which were these huge waves of migratory immigrants, similar to a Bronze Age era Viking era, like revolution. The theories are today that maybe these people were experiencing food scarcity back in their homelands up north, and they decided to immigrate south to try to find more food. And they came into conflict with all these great existing empires, right? The effects may be cumulative, so like hunger could spark these migrations, which could damage the land that these big empires are growing food on, which could then make their own people not have enough food, leading to riots, and so on. Most likely there was an underlying systemic rot in the Bronze Age societies, and drought-inducing famine was the spark that set the societal timber ablaze. That's my quote. You can quote me on that one. I think as you'll come to see as we study more and more societies and their downfalls, as we go through our collapseology course, or discussions, you'll see that most of the societies that do fall or collapse, it's not one event that destroys them. It's like a buildup of stuff, you know, and eventually the system can no longer really take it anymore. There are some big cliffs back in there, actually, but I don't know if you can really see them. We will be exploring Hoosier National Forest for the next couple days. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to take a break from my usual topics and talk about hierarchical power structures, because those things are total bullcrap. And yeah, I will continue inspiring and creating empowering content daily, as always, maybe a little later than usual. There isn't always super great cell phone reception around here, but that is the end of my collapse discussion for today. So older classical historical theories viewed these sea people as the primary cause. Modern perspectives tend to say that these people were responding to climate change induced drought that led to famine, which is kind of pertinent for our own era. Now that we're further north, it's not nearly as hot, which is a blessing. But man, dude, I could tell you this summer was one of the hottest I've ever had down in like Alabama. Very hot. Anyways, as always, my message remains the same: spend less, live more, earn your freedom with frugality. This is the Wandering Author, reminding you that we are all the authors of our own lives in the bluffs at Beaver Bend in southern Indiana. What are you guys doing in order to inspire, uplift, and empower your community today? Because this world isn't changing unless we all do our part. You can count on me to do mine daily. Till next time, love you guys.